last couple of years. If you're only doing one, Jason's not. Jason's been doing like two. But he's so strong. Like, for big, you have a reaction. I have to take 4 or 5 a day. I just scoop them with my nail. That's why I put it in because he's like the thought of putting it like directly in his mouth, like that texture. He's like, that powdery like cotton mouth. Yeah, he can't do it. So he's like, put it in my coffee or something. So I just put it in my coffee, put it up, and I add sugar. Jason, you forget.
You will?
There's like this taste to it. It's just that powdery. Jason, this morning, Jason put this in his salad. Takes his salad and everything. He takes saffron. Sugar, put it in his butter. In his water. This is all right through. Yeah. That makes my life he's keeping fresh. It won't like spoil. It's like putting certain right there.
All right, I have 6 o'clock. I'm going to call this meeting to order. I'd like to start. Thank you. Reminder, this meeting is being recorded, video and audio here.
Also recording audio and video.
I'm sorry, say it again.
I'm recording audio and video.
Are you recording? Anybody else recording? I see nobody else. Okay, thank you. Okay, before we actually start the business of this meeting, I want to open this for just a second to address the issue of the 250th celebration that took place here on Saturday. Compliments to everybody who worked so hard. As I've stated several times, and so has Tom and others, this was not a town of Brimfield production. It was a group of private citizens that got together, raised the money, and they did this celebration. And although I wasn't here, I had another commitment that day. I'm told it was absolutely amazing. So I'm going to give John Freeman an opportunity to speak to it, and Tom said he'd like to just say a word or two before we start off with the meeting. So,
sure.
Mr. Freeman,
I want to speak on behalf of my sister Jane and myself, and we were able to attend the Saturday event. The weather was perfect, and I've never seen an event come together so seamlessly. You could see the professionalism in it. We arrived at the school, they were all set up, the police were out there getting the people across the road safely. They had stations set up throughout the cemetery. The research that went into it is phenomenal. I know Brimfield very well, and I was even learning things about some of the history. So the whole production was you knocked it out of the park.
yeah, they really deserve a lot of credit for all the
You
work
could
they
see
did.
the amount of work that went into that whole project.
Absolutely.
You know, we certainly appreciated it. We were able to stay for the program on the Common. It was really nice to see James Adams be honored, lifelong resident of the town, and that was a really great thing, and a personal friend of ours too. And of course, Don Moriarty and all the contributions that he made over the years. So we were able to stay through that program again, very well planned. Came off without a hitch. unfortunately, I had to go back to work, so I didn't get to see the fireworks or anything else, but I'm sure that those were at the same high level of quality.
Yeah, we are very fortunate to have people like this in town that are willing to make this better.
So just a real thank you from us and a lot of other people on that.
Appreciate that, John, thank you. You have something you'd like to say?
I don't know who made it and who didn't, but we had these booklets made and we gave them out on the common. If anyone would like one of these, I'll just kind of pass them around as I'm talking. So thank you, John, and to Jane as well. This was definitely not the work of one person at all. It was the work of a committee. Nobody asked us, right? Nobody just came up and said, hey, we're putting a committee together. Who wants to be on it, which is usually what we all wait for, right? We wait to be asked for things like this. But in this case, it was, for me, it was someone just speaking up and putting it back in my head. It's a reminder. It's the nation's 250th. What are we doing, right? And that was Don Moriarty who said that. You were there, though, right?
I have one. I have two.
I got one for Jason.
And so all I had to hear was that. What are we doing? And my answer was, I don't know, but we're going to do something, right? Nobody invited me to do this thing. My first stop was Bob Corey. Bob's an Army veteran, 173rd Airborne in Vietnam. So I go over to Bob and I'm like, what do you suggest? And he and I talked about it a little bit. We got a few more people together, and this committee grew to 14 people, right? And at the very beginning, the way we ran it was don't stifle anyone's creativity, don't stifle their thoughts, their ideas, take mental note, take physical notes, and try to put something together. And we decided on a date right away because it wasn't during the summer when people are away, it's during the school year, people are still in town. It's also the weekend of Flag Day, which is June 14th. So it all just seemed, and we're not weather forecasters, but we picked a good day, right? Waking up on Saturday morning, it was like God loves us. It's just absolutely beautiful out. And so this committee, once we were able to learn who everybody was, because we didn't work together before, right? Some of us didn't even know each other. We're just a hodgepodge crew of residents for the most part. And once we understood what we had 3 people on the parade. Chris was one of them, with Tina and Bruce Harkness from town, who are in a lot of parades because they're on the spirit of the Springfield Kilty Band. Tina was the one on the bagpipes doing God Bless America. So they owned the parade. Myself and another honoree was Cindy Scavera. We had events on the Common. We divided it up that way, and Cindy, who has a ton of experience of all events in this town, especially on the Common, you know, it just really became clear getting to know her more of what she's done in her whole life. So we put her down on, without her knowing it, to get recognized as well for her lifelong selfless service to her community. And then, of course, Rusty over here, he's kind of a master of the winery, right? He owns it. And everything that we wanted to do at the winery as like the culminating point was Rusty and a few others, and we absolutely nailed it, right, Rusty? And everything, the whole day, the National Guard came in, they put up a little obstacle course. You had the band, we had the fife and drum that we brought in from the National Guard. It was their day off, by the way. They support Boston a lot. And they volunteered. My buddy over there put it out to a few people, and they're all like, yep, let's do it. And they all came all the way out here to offer us fife and drum. So these are the little things that happen when you get 14 people together from all walks of Brimfield, and actually one from Holland, because we made it a 3-town event at one point. You know, we don't know, nation's freedom doesn't know any town boundaries. So we brought in our other 2 nearby towns. And what we had was just a masterpiece, and it was your wife that said to me, your sister, who said to me, I have not seen this level of unity in Brimfield since the tornado, right? I appreciate hearing that, but we don't have to wait for a disaster. So I just really want what we just did to be an example of how we move forward in our town with everything. All matters. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Okay. Thank you both for that, John. Thanks. so first up on the list, we have a meeting with the Agricultural Committee. That is a pretty much brand new committee. You've had, what, one meeting so far? Is there someone not here?
Yes, Roger.
Oh, Roger, right, okay. I knew there was somebody, I couldn't remember who it was. And the reason that we said this would be a good idea just to talk, because, you know, going forward, we need to get an idea of what everybody's role is in all of this, okay? So I'll give you my perception and my take on this, and I'll give the board an opportunity, and then I'll give the Agricultural Commission an opportunity to have their say on it. The purpose of getting together here is, you know, I know the committee was kind of not certain what their role would be and what was going to be expected from them and so forth, okay? And as we went through reading the bylaws, and not only the bylaws, but even in the state laws, definitions of these things are very vague, okay? So when you talk about things like generally accepted agricultural practices, what does that mean? I defy you to go find a definition somewhere, but that's one of the things that we need this board to do for us, is to figure out and find where that definition comes from and what the meaning of that is, okay? In addition to that, and in my own, again, I'm giving you my take on it, and I'm sure others have things that are gonna contribute to this too, but, and even things like, this is a result of animal complaints, dog complaints. We have two of them on the table, so we need to get this information and these definitions nailed down before we move forward. But even if you take a look at the dogs themselves, and they're held up as livestock dogs, guarding the livestock, but I don't see what kind of qualifications or training or anything else is required of these dogs before they become livestock guardians. I know if you have a service dog or a comfort dog or a police dog, these things all have to go through extensive training, and admittedly, I don't have a farm, so I have no idea what the rules are on that. And that's something else that we need this committee to do, is come up with and find out exactly what the requirements are to qualify as a livestock dog. Like, I don't think you can just go to the pond and get a couple of dogs and come back and say, okay, these are my livestock dogs. I'm sure there's some kind of training and some kind of requirements for that. So those are a couple of the things we'd like to try to get some clarification on. And when you see yourself in the role of the Agriculture Committee, this committee is a fact-finding committee. It doesn't have decision-making powers, not just from us, but from the state. You know, it's a advisory committee, and whatever information you have and whatever you can help us when we have our hearing on these two particular events, we want to have as much information as we can get, so we're making the right decision based on information and not what we think it means. I know it's easier said than done, but that's something that we need to get done. So those are, and again, think of yourself more as referees than anything else. If you've got a problem between neighbors over, in this case, the dogs, we want to treat everybody equally, fairly, and by the letter of the law and the spirit of the law, and that's what we're trying to do. So we need this committee to go out and get us as much of this information as we can, so we're making good decisions here, okay? Do we have any other board members that have something to add to this? No?
I'll add something. So one thing that I think is worth noting is that, the idea of a nuisance dog hearing, the select board is the authority that that is responsible for those type of hearings. These hearings are very formal. The individuals, not just the complainants, will be sworn under oath to present their evidence to us, but also the individuals who are the dog owners and the farm owners, they're sworn under oath. So it's a very formal proceeding. There are certain definitions that we have to be cognizant of the board in establishing, whether or not there's evidence to show that a dog is a nuisance dog. And I think that it's very important for all the parties to understand the formal procedure associated with this and the obligations that we have to balance, of course, the issues and rights of all the parties. So that's why when the Agricultural Commission has also within their charter had this ability to be able to resolve disputes between farms and also residents, to me, that's a very important component of this process, and hopefully the agricultural committee, besides giving us the wealth of information that we need in the process of our decision-making, that they also are able to work with the parties and hopefully find a resolution to those issues. So I think it's important for all the parties to remember that again, this is a formal process sworn under oath. The individuals coming up in front of us, and we will have the right to ask questions of all the individuals that come before us during this hearing process. So,
Thank you. Crystal? The other thing I want to add here is, these things are difficult enough. Dog hearings are always very emotional. You got the people who own the dogs, you got the people who are being.
I can't hear you at all.
It's a very emotional issue, and that is that you got the people who own the dogs, and you have your people who are complaining that they're being bothered by the dogs, and somehow we have to come up to an equitable, fair decision in the end that benefits everybody fairly and nobody's being victimized. And having said, I've only, in the 100 years that I've done this, I've only done one other, and that was, like in 2022, I think we had a dog hearing. And as Chris said, it's very formal. You're going to be sworn in, we're going to sit here, we're going to take testimony, and in the end, whatever decision is made by this board has statutory authority, and you can't just ignore it, or you end up in bigger trouble than that, okay? So I would just ask people as we go forward with this to not exacerbate the situation by claiming that, we're going after farms or anything else. It's got nothing to do with farming. This has to do with one thing, and that's nuisance dogs, okay? We have not just two neighbors, we have neighborhoods who are writing and complaining and signing petitions and so forth. So we have a duty to go into this and find out and try to get this thing resolved. Whatever help we can get from the agricultural committee is certainly appreciated, but just remember, you're basically looking for goodwill more than anything else, because only we can come up with some kind of finding and decision and come up with what has to be done, okay?
And I will say this, I hope that everyone involved, all boards, commissions, neighbors, we can just all stay respectful of one another. We'll find a solution. I know we will, we can, but let's not tear each other down. Let's not tear each other down, folks.
Okay, if the board has nothing else to say, I will turn this over to the Agricultural Commission. If you have questions, comments, statements, whatever. Would you be kind enough just to introduce who you are so that people know?
So I'm Brian Treitman. I own BT Smokehouse, and I live on Brookfield Road. I have 43 acres on Brookfield Road, tree farm, do maple syrup, raise bees. But some of us visited the two properties in question yesterday. They both seem to have agricultural and farming processes going on. The state of Massachusetts doesn't recognize dogs as livestock in any way, shape, or form. There are, unless they are being raised specifically for sale or to make some kind of profit off of the dogs. That is the only way that dogs are seen as livestock in Massachusetts. The two breeds of dogs in question are historically guardian livestock breeds. There's no question about that. They were raised for that. It's innate in their nature to protect livestock. So even with minimal training, that's their purpose. And there was one case in Massachusetts where that was discussed, but again, they're not considered livestock unless they're being sold or they're producing money in some way. But I'm going to call them farms because they are, that we visited, by definition, a farm in Massachusetts has to make or lose $1,200 a year in farming practices. And I can guarantee guarantee that both of these places do that. Even, on Old Palmer Road, their losses are at least $1,200 a year for what they do, because they're not, they're raising animals. And that's my opinion from what I've read. I think that, from what I saw also, is that they've both made concessions about how they're, trying to limit their dogs' interactions with people. But again, this isn't like the dogs being on their property doesn't fall under right to farm, under state law. And so we can tell you that it's a farm, we can tell you that they're livestock guardian dogs, but we can't tell you that the dogs are there under right to farm under state law. And so, it's my understanding that you all have to have, unless the complaint is withdrawn, you have to have a hearing about them and make a decision, as I read the law. And from what I saw from the lawyer and what they said.
Yeah, and I would just suggest that as we move forward in this process, if one or both of these situations goes to a hearing, you should have one person from your group prepared to be sworn and testify towards anything we might need to hear about when the hearing comes up. Okay, so just some advance warning on that. Okay.
Before Joe speaks, just, I think everything that you're giving us is really important. Just realize that obviously it's not part of the hearing, so right now you're not under oath or anything like that. It's not part of it. But I think the discussion is good. I just want to make sure you understand.
Joe Venetia,
John Freeman. One thing we did do when we made the visits yesterday, and we broke into groups and we each went our separate way.
and so what we tried to do was, we tried to give them suggestions as to how to mitigate the problem. If the dogs are barking in response to predators, then let's start working on that first and see if we can mitigate that problem. And there are techniques to do it. We mentioned a few different things like solar lights you can put around the fence line. That works for us. It keeps deer out of the gardens and things like that. If it's a deer problem, you can hang bars of soap up, and that discourages them, keeps them out. If it's coyotes, again, it right in the law, in the right to farm bylaw, it gives the landowner farmer the right to control predators. So that would be on them at that point. You want to try to look at what is attracting them in. Obviously, the animals are going to be attractive, but don't leave grain out overnight, like sweet feed and things like that that are going to attract raccoons and bear. Honeybees, things like that. If they're positioned in the wrong place, that can be a factor. You might be able to move that, and so that when the bear comes through, it's going to be away from the dogs. Those types of suggestions were what we were trying to work on to see if you could, work through a bad situation here and hopefully
Yeah, another great mission could
be of some assistance.
to help the farmers with that. Thank you.
Joe Venetia, 29 East Hill Road. So, couple things. Roger and I have been working with the Farm Bureau, and it may or may not be livestock guardian dogs from the Farm Bureau's perspective, Massachusetts and everywhere else. There was a lot of backing and state law that do protect livestock guardian dogs that are registered, and I don't have that case law in front of me, but that's something that I think we still need to look at, because there's obviously conflicting opinions. But what I've also been doing is working with the Farm Bureau, who kicked me to UMass Boston We then will let me know of a group called the Collaborative Resolutions Group. And it's a group that does mediation throughout Hampden County and a few others. I have some fact sheets here for them, but essentially they exist because of these exact issues. And ideally, if all of the parties are willing, it is a completely third-party, federally funded, free program that allows the parties to work with somebody that will pick up the phone tomorrow and work through the issues. Completely private, it's 100% confidential. And this would give each party an opportunity to not get to a hearing. And if we can achieve that, I think everybody would be in a much better place, moving forward. It's free, and there's a 30-minute screener that, they basically meet each of the parties, and then they can go in and work together. They can do it by Zoom or in person, but it's available to us, and I think we just have to reach out to the parties and see if they'd be willing. The hearing stays scheduled until they either come to an agreement or if they don't, but this group would then provide the select board with the agreement documented so that, if things fall apart in a month or whatever, that, they can reapply or not, but.
Okay, I just want to be clear on one point though.
Yep.
You understand this committee is not in any way, shape, or form mediators of this? 'Cause
So it's a third party.
No, I understand you said third party, I just want to be clear,
completely
because I
out
heard
of-
people saying that, we're gonna be mediators.
Well, that's
No,
part
you-
of our
I understand
charter
third
is
party,
helping
got it.
facilitate this. So
Yeah.
if we need to work with the farms to get them to come to the table, that's our job, is to work with the farms and help them get there. Doesn't seem like that's the issue. I think both farms are willing to do that. We've talked to both of them. So it would be on the complaint side to come to the table and say, hey, and the first meeting we had, all the hands went up saying that they would be agreeable to doing this, and it's just a matter of
Yeah, I just would, the only caution I would give you is, if you think you wanted to go in that direction, that suggestion would have to come to this board, and we would make the decision to bring it.
So that's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, I
This is on you,
understand.
this is information that we found that you can use.
Yeah, it isn't just, I'm not saying that just for you, but for anybody else who has an interest in what's happening, so.
Yeah,
Going
so-
a little bit beyond what you're saying.
The select board email has their information, and essentially it's just a quick call, and they can start tomorrow, which is
Is that
pretty
what
great.
your board is suggesting? Your board hasn't really met, right?
So, no, we haven't voted on whether or not we should suggest this. We can, but it's an option, and
It's a tool that you all have in your pocket before you go to a hearing. If you want to put it back on the complainants and the farms to say, is this something that you would like to try? Then before you all get into a hearing about it, give them a chance to work it out with the third party. But it's a tool that you all have to do that with.
Okay, so I have something. First, I want to thank you all for volunteering to be on this committee, and you're getting a big heavy lift for your first job, I guess. Hopefully, once this settles, we have other cool things we can do around here to help our farms. But I just want to add that in a perfect world, two neighbors talk things out, they communicate with each other, and they work out their issues. Usually it's a give and take, right? It's concessions on both sides. And for the fact you came up with this tool that we could possibly use, as soon as you vote on it, you let us know what you recommend. I think that's welcome. And I would rather see the neighbors talk it out themselves and actually have good dialogue and find their own solutions. But if that can't happen, for whatever reason, then this is a tool. And waiting to hear your full recommendation once you have your vote.
I would take a motion to recommend, we recommend the select board to offer this as an option to both parties.
Second.
I need a first and a second. As,
Do you have to vote? Does everybody on the board have to, yes or no?
all in favor? Aye.
We appreciate that, and that does give us an excellent tool as we go forward with this.
One last thing, with your dealing with the folks involved in this, I just don't want you to, I don't want us counting on this mediation right now, even though we may use it, but keep doing what you're doing, and if you can get the parties to communicate on their own and make their own concessions that they're comfortable with, and follow them through and see it through. I mean, this isn't the US versus Iran in negotiation and concessions. This is a lot easier than that. So, you know, we gotta be good neighbors to each other. And both parties should be willing to make living a life in your own property amicable and livable. So if they can do it on their own, I'd rather see that happen and see you come back here and say, we don't need any mediators, they got it fixed.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay. Thank you very much for coming in to talk to us, appreciate it, you know.
Thank you for
If
your
guys-
time.
If you guys need anything going forward, just call the office, we'll get you whatever you need, okay? And you're certainly welcome to come to another meeting if you want to, but I'm just saying, I don't wanna have it held up, you know, once every 2 weeks. If you got something you need, if you got a question about something, contact our office and we'll get you the information that you need, okay? Great, okay, thanks again, appreciate you being here.
Can you guys use the microphone they were using? I can't hear you.
All right, next up, we're going to address the minutes. We have 1, 2, 3 sets of minutes here. 2.
Only the May 13th.
The May 13th, all right. Everybody had a chance to review that? Yes. Has everyone reviewed the minutes?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep, okay.
Can I just ask, without the microphone, can you guys hear us?
No, not really.
Yes.
All right.
Well,
If
we'll
you
do
get-
our best to
there are
work it
seats
here,
up
but
here
if you
too,
get
so-
closer, it would be helpful, because we don't have an actual microphone set up here.
Elementary school cafeteria, this is what happens, right? So, but you're all welcome to move to where you need to move in order to hear.
Okay, so which ones do we have? We have the,
It is May 13th.
May
I make a
13th.
motion to approve the May 13th, 2026 meeting minutes.
I'll second that.
okay, any discussion or questions? All right, all in favor?
Raise your eye.
Stewart, aye.
De Bruin abstains, I was not elected at that time.
Dwyer, aye.
Kelly, aye. Okay, thank you. Thanks. Okay, now we have a list of appointments, starting with the building commissioner, zoning officer, William Cantel for a 3-year term.
I move that we table that.
Okay.
There's another discussion that needs to happen, and that's the willingness to use online permitting, starting immediately. And whether it's the one we have or a new one, we need to decide what we're gonna do, and we need to get moving on it, in my opinion.
Okay. How do the other members feel about that?
I'll speak. I'd like to just echo Tom's comments. So, I think I said publicly a while back that, you know, construction projects in general are not paper-based anymore. No one operates in that way. It's for efficiency, it's for other reasons. And I think that I'd like to also see a plan as to what progress we're gonna make moving forward. If Permit Pro is not the right tool for the employees, I think there's some room for us to talk about whether or not there are some other tools available to them that might be better or even more efficient.
and user-friendly, not just for the residents, but also the employees using it.
And just to caveat, there are tools available. We know of one right now. There's a link where we could watch, how to use it. I'm not the one using it, so it's not really going to do me very much good to review that and decide for everybody else that this is XYZ is the online tool they should be using. What I'm asking to happen is that the person that has a problem with the tools, the online permitting, for them to watch those videos and to make a decision. This is a can that's been kicked down the road a while, and we're not getting anywhere. So that's why I moved. I think Mr. Cantel works very hard, and he knows his craft, but we need to move ourselves forward, and that's why I think that he and whoever else needs to review those links to understand what other options we have, and then let them make the decision. I'm fine with that. Let them make the decision on the tool they want to use. I'm not going to make it for them.
Okay, thank you. All right, so if somebody wants to make a motion to table that appointment, please do so.
No, just so that I'm clear, we're gonna table the appointment.
Want that?
Oh, no, that's okay, I'll speak loud. We're gonna table that, but he is still our acting, building commissioner and zoning board.
Yes.
Okay.
He stays in unless he's actively removed from the position.
Right.
Okay, all right. Did we get a motion to table it?
I move that we table this until we can have a conversation with Mr. Cantel about using online permitting.
Well, I'm gonna also state that I think that if we're gonna have a conversation with Mr. Cantal, that it should be an open meeting. We can't be going, one board member going and the second board member going. It needs to be an open meeting so that we're all on the same page.
Let's get him on the agenda.
Okay, we'll take care of that, just do as far as the table, maybe between now and the next meeting, we can get people to look at this.
Just the vote of the board previously had been that the use of permapro is optional, so that is being made a condition of his reappointment that should be addressed beforehand.
The reason I moved to table this so that we could talk more about online permitting with them. I know we made up it's optional, that's clear. So we need to decide, is it really optional, or are we really gonna move forward with an online permitting system first?
Okay. Let me make a suggestion, we should not discuss any more of that at this point. We should get that discussion on the agenda, and we should get him on the agenda. And the order of appearance in this meeting would be that, first order would be, what are we gonna do with the online permitting? And then once we do that, we can revisit.
Right, right. And we have to revisit through all the departments.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So I think you had a motion, was there a second? I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Frazier, aye.
Stewart, aye.
Bruin, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Okay, we are table. All right, next up, we have Council on Aging. August D. Miranda for a 3-year term.
Chris, she's currently on there?
Yes.
Yes. I make a motion to appoint August Miranda for 3-year term, Council on Aging. D. Miranda, sorry.
I second that.
Anybody has something to say? Not, all in favor?
Frazier, aye.
Stewart, aye.
Bruin, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Kelly, aye.
Diane D. Miranda
Yep.
for a 3-year term of a Council of Aging.
That's a motion.
Second it.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Frazier, aye.
Stewart, aye.
Bruin, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Kelly, aye.
I make a motion to appoint Scott Garris Jr. for a 3-year term for the Court Commission.
Second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Frazier, aye.
Stewart, aye.
Bruin, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Kelly, aye.
I make a motion to appoint Leo, I don't know how it's.
Leodor.
Leodor.
Gelino.
Gelino?
Gelino.
Gelino for a 4-year term for the housing authority. I know it's Leo.
Yeah, I know, that's what we.
Everyone knows Leo.
What's the first name? Okay, so we have a motion on that.
Second it.
Discussion? Okay. It should be noted that this particular position is, the Housing Authority is elected in this town for 5 years. There's also one position that is appointed by the governor's office. That's the one he's filling here. That's why we're appointing it and not sending it to an election, okay? We had
We have a motion and a second.
a second, all right, all in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye.
I make a motion to appoint Scott Mansfield for a 3-year term for Inspector of Wires.
Seconded. Discussion? All in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye.
Appoint Paul Shepherdson for a 3-year term for Assistant Inspector of Wires.
Seconded. Discussion? All in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye.
Make a motion to appoint Madeline Goodrich for a 1-year term for the tax title custodian.
Seconded. Discussion? All in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye. And I just want to stop for a second, editorialize on that for just a second.
Go ahead.
For those of you who have never met her, Madeline is our treasurer collector, and she does a phenomenal job. We are very fortunate to have her working for us, so I'm happy to support that one.
I couldn't agree more.
Thank you.
Make a motion for Madeline Goodrich for a 3-year term for treasurer collector.
Seconded. Discussion? Other than that? Okay, all in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye.
Make a motion to appoint Laura Foster for a 1-year term for treasurer collector clerk.
Seconded. Discussion? All in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye. Thank you for all of those. Okay, under new business, fiscal year 2027 fuels and boiler maintenance bid awards. So as we know, we put them out to bid, bids come in. The procurement officer, who is Chris DeFalco, at the end of the table, he makes recommendations on these, and we do, we obviously are the ones that have to sign them in the end, so that's why they're on this agenda.
Okay, this is exciting stuff. I motion to award the contract for fiscal year 2027 heating fuel at the over daily rate rack of 24 cents per gallon to Sherman Oil.
Seconded. Okay. All in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye.
To award the contract for the fiscal year 2027 diesel ultra-low sulfur at the over daily rack rate of 24 cents per gallon to Sherman Oil.
Seconded. Discussion? All in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye.
Make a motion to award the contract for the fiscal year 2027 boiler maintenance work at the rate of $150 per hour to Sherman Oil.
Seconded. All in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye.
All right, we're moving on to road materials. Right?
Yes.
All right, next. To award the following fiscal year 2027 contracts for various road materials to Palmer Paving Corporation. Cold pack pickup in the amount of $140 per ton. Super paved 9.5 millimeter pickup in the amount of $91 per ton.
Seconded. Discussion? All in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye.
To award the following fiscal year 2007 contracts for various road materials to John S. Lane and Son Incorporated. 1 to 1.5 inch processed gravel pickup in the amount of $16.80 per ton. 1 to 1.5 processed gravel delivered in the amount of $28 per ton. 2 to 4 inch riprap pickup in the amount of $24.60 per ton. 2 to 4 inch riprap delivered in the amount of $34.60 per ton. 4 to 6 inch riprap pickup in the amount of $28 per ton. 4 to 6 inch riprap delivered in the amount of $38 per ton. 6 to 8 inch riprap pickup in the amount of $28 per ton. And 6 to 8 inch riprap delivered in the amount of $38 per ton.
Seconded. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBru and I.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye.
To award the following fiscal year 2027 contracts for various road materials to RB Enterprises. 1 to 1.5 inch processed gravel pickup in the amount of $18 per cubic yard. 1 to 1.5 inch processed gravel delivered in the amount of $21 per cubic yard. 3 inch processed gravel pickup in the amount of $18 per cubic yard. Bank run gravel pickup in the amount of $9 per cubic yard. Mixed stone 1.5 inch pickup in the amount of $18 per cubic yard. My mouth's getting dry. Mixed stone a 2 to 4 inch pickup in the amount of $18 per cubic yard, and mixed stone 4 to 8 inch pickup in the amount of $17 per cubic yard.
Seconded. Discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBru and I.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye.
To award the following fiscal year 2027 contracts, various road materials and equipment rental with the operating to Precise Paving Incorporated. Hard pack gravel pickup in the amount of $15 per cubic yard. Hard pack gravel pickup in the amount of $10 per cubic yard. Per ton, I'm sorry, per ton, $10 per ton. Hard pack gravel delivered in the amount of $25 per cubic yard. Hard pack gravel delivered in the amount of $17 per ton. Backhoe, 1.5 to 2 cubic yard in the amount of $170 per hour or $1,400 per day. Excavator, 10 to 15 ton in the amount of $220 per hour, $1,760 per day. Excavator, 15 to 20 ton in the amount of $260 per hour, $2,080 per day. Excavator, 15 to 20 ton with hydraulic hammer in the amount of $350 per day or $2,800 per day. Hold on, back up. Excavator, 15 to 20 ton with hydraulic hammer in the amount of $350 per hour or $2,800 per day. 10-wheeler dump truck, 17 yard in the amount of $120 per hour or $960 per day. 22-ton excavator with boom with various buckets in the amount of $260 per hour, $2,080 per day. 18-ton grader with 14-foot moldboard and front blade in the amount of $325 per hour, $2,600 per day. A 7-ton vibratory drum roller in the amount of $150 per hour or $1,200 per day. 12-ton vibratory drum roller in the amount of $160 per hour, $1,280 per day. Reclaimer with operator in the amount of $550 per hour, $4,400 per day. Skid steer with operator in the amount of $185 per hour, $1,400 a day.
Seconded. Discussion? Usually we didn't need it, it was too much. All in favor? Hey, no, all in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBru and I.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye. Want a break?
No, I'm good. There we go.
She's on a
We're gonna
roll.
get through this. To award the following fiscal year 2027 contracts for various road materials to Northern Construction Services, LLC. 3/4 inch wash stone pickup in the amount of $32 per ton. 3/4 inch wash stone delivered in the amount of $35 per ton.
Seconded. Discussion? All in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBru and I.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye.
To award the fiscal year 2027 contract for excavator 5 to 10 ton to Divine Dirt Work Incorporated in the amount of $170 per hour or $1,360 per day.
Seconded. Discussion? All in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBru and I.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye.
To award the following fiscal year 2027 contracts for the equipment rental with operator to Samick Trucking. Truck axle, 20-yard capacity in the amount of $120 per hour. 36,000 gross weight, gross vehicle weight of greater, 6-wheel dump truck with 11-foot plow, 9-foot wing, 7 cubic yard spreader or greater with computer controls in the amount of $240 a day. Per hour, that's per hour.
Seconded. Discussion? All in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBru and I.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye.
To award the fiscal year 2027 contract for bucket truck with chipper to J. Jajiri LLC in the amount of $136 per hour or $1,880 per day.
Seconded. Discussion? All in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBru and I.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye.
To award the fiscal year 2027 contract for bucket truck, log truck, chipper, and ground crew to Rusty's Tree Expert in the amount of $225 per hour or $1,800 a day.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye.
All right, so this, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, we're gonna do this motion pending verification of a parent lowest, form being given back, correct?
Yes. The parent 3 lowest bidder form.
The parent 3 lowest bidder form. So this is all pending that. To award the contract for IFB 20268WY01 road resurfacing and related work to fiscal year 2027 to Precise Paving at the following rates. $2.50 per square yard of cold planting, 0 to 2 inches deep. $5.50 per gallon for asphalt emulsion. $102 per ton for super paved 9.5 millimeter. $200 per ton of asphalt driveway aprons and waterways.
Second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye.
That is it.
Nice.
That's what I tried.
Okay, thank you very much for doing that. Okay, next up, we have to approve the water and wetland proposal for Lake Sherman Aquatic Management in the amount of $9,900.
$9,990.
And this is something that we do every year.
This is something that we do every year, but Chris, where's that come in? A little bit more?
This is the exact same as last year's. It was actually lower than the contracted rate from the previous vendor who've been used prior 5 years. The conservation chair may be better able to.
Significantly lower. We ended up going with a different person that was, a different company that was doing it.
I recall, yeah.
They just have a different process and hopefully better overall for the lake and residents.
Okay, so all we do is approve
Yep,
this.
make a motion to approve the water wetland proposal for Lake Sherman Aquatic Management in the amount of $9,990.
Second it.
Discussion? All in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye. Next up, approve the quote to replace Town Hall Annex entryway carpet from Karen's House of Carpets in the amount of 304?
Yep.
And, yeah, 40 cents. I just want to say on this, we looked at this, and when I say we, Chris and I talked about this, and one of the options was to buy the carpeting and have our building maintenance guy put it in, but that created a lot of problems, because it was gonna take him 2 days to do it, and he only works half a day on Friday, and to do this, we'd have to disrupt the operation of the annex, because people wouldn't be able to go in and out that door. That's the only door with handicapped access and a handicap ramp. So we couldn't just simply say, just go do it. So this company says that they're gonna send 2 guys up that do this every day for a living, and they said they'll get it done in 1 day, the plan.
On a Friday.
On a Friday, so that it does not disrupt the operation of the annex and all the people who work in there. So that's why it's on here. And I would urge us to go forward and to get this done, because it's a safety hazard at this point.
I move that we approve the quote to replace the Town Hall Annex entryway carpet from Karen's House of Carpets Incorporated in the amount of $1,304.40.
I'll second that.
Okay, is there any other discussion? In that case, all in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye. Thank you. Next up, we have the conservation clerk job posting, and we have the wording on all of that. I think it's the same one we used the last time, isn't it? Chris?
I believe it was expanded slightly, let me click off.
Joe, have you looked at this?
Yeah, we voted to.
So you good with what it says?
What?
You good with the way it's set up?
We voted to recommend it
Okay,
to you
good.
guys.
Can I just ask, where does that money come from?
What's that?
Is that already programmed?
It's already, yep.
Okay, so can we get a motion on that?
So the rate was currently, that's what, your last clerk was getting paid, the 1607?
Chris has that.
The first sheet is the previous posting.
Okay.
The second one was what was voted by conservation. The highlighted sections are placeholders. The email, 2 sheets from the back, has the current rate from the accountant and the pay rate as of July 1st.
All right, so I guess I'm not, so we're posting it as, hold on.
It should be posted as 2116.
No, we should, yeah, right, we should,
Yeah,
Should be 2116.
correct. Yeah.
And that's
As-
assuming we don't get somebody that we have to train or.
I can't hear you, what?
If we get somebody that's not trained or that's like to start somebody, I guess it doesn't matter.
All right, do you want to amend this to?
That's not what we
make the-
vote.
You want to amend this to make the motion with the 21, what was it?
2116. That's the rate starting July 1st. That's
that was her rate, that was the current clerk's rate starting July 1st.
correct.
All right, so I'm a huge, and I say this every time a job comes up, I don't think we should automatically post a job with the current rate of somebody that's been there 5-7 years.
Right.
That's my opinion, I think we need to we could post a range, because somebody could come in with no experience, or somebody could come with more experience. So if we did that range, with that 2116 being at the top of the range,
1607 at the bottom?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm good with that spot.
Yeah.
Right, okay, let's do that. Want to make that as an official motion?
No, I have nothing
I
left.
was going to say, I wanted to see if I could tell you.
I make a motion to accept the job description post. We will add in with a range for payment of 1607 to 2116.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Fraser, aye?
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye, thank you. Okay, next up, I know I'm going to turn this over to Chris to give you the more specific definition. Apparently, the Spectrum News people.
Can I go back to the job posting for just
Yeah.
too quick? The date on there is to receive resumes by August 15th, 2016. Is there an updated date, or does the board want to remove the date? And the other question, where is this being posted? In the past, we have done the Palmer Journal and the MMA job posting, but where does the board want
I
this?
post in the same place.
I would, yeah, let's,
Put it in the same.
same place.
You know, that's something we probably ought to standardize so that, like, that question never comes up again. It's just, you know, it's automatic. When the posting comes up, we advertise it in the same place every time.
Right. And I'm actually working on something on how we hire, kind of a timeline, but that's further down the line. But instead of using that July 15th, could we just put until job is filled? And then we can readdress once the applications start coming in?
That makes sense.
Yeah, that seems fair. Chris, you good with that? Okay with that?
We don't need a motion or anything, right?
No.
If you're editing the posting that was recommended to the board, we'd probably need to have a motion for it.
No, we did really was the range, so.
Right, so we did the range, so I would add on to that motion that we add the line, applications, help me out, applications accepted until position is full.
Yes, perfect.
I'll second that.
Anything else? No? Okay, all in favor?
Fraser, aye?
Stewart, aye.
DeBruin, aye.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye. Thank you. Get your money's worth out of those motions tonight.
Your money to get around.
Okay, next up, we have Spectrum News wants to come in. They're gonna do some kind of a show, an antique show, and they wanna do it from the public safety side, the select board side. They want somebody to be their contact and the person who will be the face of this interview in this program. So who wants to volunteer to do that?
Who has the best looking face for TV?
Can I just make a comment too?
Yeah.
This topic is timely because we're also talking about the license renewal that we reviewed last week. That is also an old business. So after Chris had sent out that email from Spectrum, I had to speak with Nancy Clark in Governmental Affairs anyways to have that further conversation about the license agreement. So we began the conversation where she described exactly what she wanted to do, which was the Spectrum News channel doesn't cost us anything. They take care of everything. They manage everything. They want 3 people from our community that will be interviewed, essentially. They'd like to interview them at maybe perhaps a landmark that we have that's related specifically to the Brimfield flea market. And they want to have the opportunity to talk about other things, like, for example, she actually mentioned the Hitchcock Free Academy to discuss as well. But those 3 individuals specifically, she wanted individuals that have a good story to tell about the history associated with the event and other events in the community. So because I had that conversation with her, I'll volunteer to continue speaking with her because I'm also talking to her about that license final rate issue.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Every time she asks about the show, twist it over again. Let's talk about your contract now.
Well, I don't know if we want to cover that right now. Do we want to do
I'm just kidding.
the update on the old business for that rate?
Yeah.
So it led into the discussion of the item about the license renewal agreement with Spectrum. Of course, just to refresh your recollection, Jacob, our cable access coordinator, had reviewed all the materials. He's consulted with other communities with these license agreements. I was able to have a review of the contract with Chris DeFalco as well as Jacob. Jacob was a wealth of knowledge about information about what we should expect as a community from a rate perspective on these contracts. I then did some research on the FCC caps associated with it, and there is a 5% franchise fee cap, so that's the highest we can possibly have. So in my conversation with Nancy, I essentially asked for the cap. I asked her to modify the contract. I notified our council as well of that request. She did not object. She said they're going to have a discussion internally and she's going to get back to our council. So as soon as we hear back from her, the only question she had was, is that the only modification that we want? And I said, I got the impression that the board would put it back on the agenda for discussion for approval once we receive that 5% cap.
Okay, cool. Okay. Thank you. Well, appreciate that. Okay. Next up we have the, set the date for the nuisance dog hearings. And my take is this, we should get this thing scheduled so that we have it in the pipeline. And if the agricultural committee comes back and says, all the neighbors have agreed to work together and we don't need to go any further, great, we can cancel it. Or if they say we need more time, we can move it out, as long as we leave ourselves enough time to do all the notifications that are required for all your butters and so forth, okay?
So do you want to have one of our scheduled meetings as a placeholder, or did you want, does the board want?
Well, you know what, I had originally said that I would do it in a regularly scheduled meeting, but I think I've changed my thoughts on that, and I think we should have a separate meeting just for that.
I agree.
Okay, so,
I remember it's 2 weeks, we need to announce it 2 weeks before.
but I would start this one right now. I would say, why don't we say, 30 days, which is only 2 meetings basically for us, right? So that should give them enough time to get what information they can. We have a agricultural committee member who was foolish enough to stay for the rest of the meeting. What are your thoughts on that? You think that's okay?
We have two.
Oh,
He's hiding.
It was,
sorry.
it was my understanding that you guys were going to facilitate the mediation with the people that are filing the complaints. The Agricultural
Well,
Commission has
I don't
already
think that-
extended that.
You mean what you discussed about tonight? Yeah, well, I don't think this board has really made a decision on that. I'm sure if it comes in and it makes sense, we'll be more than happy to do that. But I think what this board needs to do is at least get a date on the table so we have an end date for all of this and not leaving it open-ended and not knowing, where it might go.
So can I just, so even if even if we can come to a resolution before the date, we still have to have that.
No.
No.
No, we can cancel the meeting. If all the parties agree that they're satisfied with the resolution, we can just cancel the hearing on that.
But that gives.
Or do we hold the hearing and they present the mediation that's occurred, and then we close the case from the meeting? Is that possible, or I've never.
I'm not 100% certain that that's,
I don't know.
yeah, that's something I'd have to look at.
But it sounds like we're leaving it to the next meeting to vote on whether or not you guys move forward with recommending the mediation. And
Well, if
then
we
they
do
have
that,
one week.
I'm gonna move to cut the time to a shorter than 30 days if we're gonna, try to go through that process first. And if we end up saying, okay, it didn't work out, we're gonna have to have a hearing, I don't wanna push it out yet another 30 or 60 days, because,
Absolutely.
whether you believe one side or the other, and it doesn't make a bit of difference, I'm not coming down on one side or the other in this question, but, every day that we wait on this, if your perception is that you're being.
So Marty, why are we waiting to do something about it? We're here now and we can move forward
Can I
with
just
that
walk
mediation.
through this just so I understand real quick as well? It might even be a good suggestion, but what I kind of envision happening, and correct me if I'm wrong, I've never done this before. So I'm kind of hoping that the Agricultural Commission can talk to the parties and have them come to an agreement on their own, like good neighbors, and just everyone make the concessions they need to make in order for, in your view, adequate concessions have been made by both parties, and maybe, just maybe, we have neighbors that can shake hands and walk away and everyone's happy. If that doesn't happen, then you tell us and we call that Free State mediator that you told us about. They go and try to make something happen. We'll still have a date scheduled for this hearing, no matter what, that we're gonna set tonight. And on that date is when officially either you guys or the state mediators or somebody comes in to tell us, hey, it's okay. They mediated, everyone made the concessions they need to make, we're good. Hopefully that would be the answer on that dog hearing. But if that's not the answer, that you tried, state mediator tried, no dice, no one's shaking hands, no one's making concessions, nobody's happy, and then we have to make a decision on that hearing day. That's how I see this thing unfolding.
Exactly.
Three stopgaps. Your committee, try to get people to shake hands and make concessions. If that doesn't work, the state mediator comes in. If that doesn't work, either way, you're all coming to the dog hearing. And then if it doesn't work, the mediation, then we're making a decision.
I agree with all of that, but I don't think it should fall completely on, the initial mediation should fall all on the ag. I think a member of this board.
I agree with you 100%. It's not their role to even come up with mediation on this.
We need
If
help
they
from you
can, if they can simply sit down and talk with the parties and say.
If two of us sitting on this board can be, representation of the liaison to work with the ag,
I
to come up
volunteer.
with a solution.
So can I just raise another issue too, is that, of course, the select board cannot truly facilitate a resolution because we're also the hearing board. So if we become involved in that, then we then would have to recuse ourselves potentially from the hearing. So that's another reason why we we can't necessarily get overly involved in that dispute resolution
But
process.
we could attend such meetings.
So nobody
Anybody
has
can
to
attend.
attend
Yeah.
except
Yeah.
the people involved. So
Say
that's
that
the
again?
point of this. Nobody else except the people filing the complaint and the farm. It's completely up to the third party. Nobody else is involved.
You're talking about the solution that you gave us,
Yes.
right?
So my,
But I think there's another step, they're missing a step.
from what I'm hearing is you feel you've gone through everything you can and you can't make it happen. So now you want to turn it over to the mediation group and let them deal with it. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
You're trying to make them work together, but they're not the ones that are going to be making the decision of what's gonna happen about the issue.
No, what Mitch just said, somebody needs to send the information to the complainants that they have this option. And we'll send it to the farm. If everybody calls in and works through it, through this mediation, then
Okay, I see what
we
you're saying.
don't have to have a hearing.
I have to say, I have to be honest, I'm really troubled by the fact that we keep saying farm, okay? It's really a dog issue, and I realize that the dogs are working at the farm.
Not based on our bylaws, and
What's
we
that?
can, not based on our bylaws. In the ACO bylaw, when it is a farm-related issue or a hunting issue, if it's a hunting dog or a farm dog, it goes to the agricultural commission. And at that point, we can either help facilitate mediation, and we can basically read back what the bylaws state for a right to farm community. So that's what we've done. And we can continue to help the farms come up with different ways to help mediate or remediate anything else. But I think it's come to, a third party that, is in a
In this
neighbor.
instance, it needs to move beyond you and to this party and see if it can get resolved, correct?
And who's gonna,
But this board has to vote to actually say, we're willing to send it to mediation.
Right,
Correct.
Yeah,
that's
that's what I'm
the
asking.
part that's not-
So we could, okay, so, bear with me, we could essentially set the date for 30 days with the pre-emblem, or whatever you wanna call it, that we are going to approach the complainants and say that this is an option. The complainants could say, no, we don't want it.
Yes, you're right, we don't oppose.
And the farms
but-
could say,
Yeah.
we don't want it.
Yeah.
But we have to give them that option.
And we already know that the farms do. So
Both farms
that's
are-
off the table, and that was established at our first meeting. So it's finding out if the complainants do, and then if that's great, then you can, then the hearing is on hold, or
You can
it's
still
still
have a
there.
placeholder.
But if they come through mediation and they come out with a list of things that they've agreed upon, that goes to you guys, it gets,
Or if the complainants say no.
or if it falls through, we're nowhere at all.
We don't lose time, right?
I think you have the best point, and that we need to recommend a move in that direction. Would one of us be better to do it, or would it be better to have, since you have been given permission?
I mean, I
to do
can
it?
send an email to, we have the complaints, we have the emails. I can send something out with the fact sheets, with the phone numbers, and everybody.
I think we should set the date, and then within the email, we can say, look, this is, the hearing date is set. In the meantime, this is an option. I think it should come from our office. Chris and I we can draft it, and the board can approve it. I don't know how you guys want to do it, but I think in order to be fair, you've given us a solution. I think that needs to be part of of setting the date.
It could be contingent on.
Yeah, encourage them to use that.
Correct.
And I think that actually helps the situation a little bit more too, if you say, okay, here's the date, if you don't come to an agreement, we're having a hearing on this date, and our rules will be.
Giving kids options.
Yep. Okay, so how do you wanna go ahead?
You've been
No,
doing
I guess the first order of business would be, does the board want to make a motion to allow this to mediation if both parties decide that they're willing to do that, because that's the key to it. If you only got one that says yes, you don't have mediation, so.
Correct.
Do you want to set it that way?
Yeah.
Okay, let somebody make that a motion, please.
I make a motion that this board use the mediation which is recommended by the Ag Commission to all involved in these matters.
And you will go and talk to all the parties and see if they're willing to do that?
Or are we gonna write, or is this office gonna write an email?
I know, if we can keep it at arm's length, it's better.
Okay,
Because
all
there's
right.
no perception that we're predisposed to one decision or another.
We're the adjudicating authority at the end, so we need to stay out of it.
Adjudicating, that's the word of the day.
Do you
No
mind
problem.
reaching out to the,
Yes,
you do mind? Oh,
I will.
okay.
That's fine.
Are you uncomfortable? I'm sensing
No,
something here.
absolutely can do that.
Okay,
That's, I have it already drafted, so.
okay.
Perfect.
Okay,
And now we can set the date for the hearing in the meantime, in case things don't go as we hope.
And if if both parties are still working through it,
We
you
can,
can
yep,
move
Advance.
it if needed.
all right. In order to do that, both parties would have to agree that they want to continue to work at that,
Right.
as opposed to
Right.
one party saying, I want this resolved, and the other saying, I'm still willing to
Right.
talk.
but we're handling these as two separate issues, with two separate complaints, right?
Yes.
There's A and B.
Yeah, they are
If-
definitely
if
two
B-
different, yep.
If B decides to go that route, great, and A doesn't, okay,
Then we have the right
Yep.
meeting accordingly.
all right.
Okay,
So we wanna set the date.
yep,
I think 30 days is
yeah,
long enough.
as long as it doesn't fall on holiday, which it doesn't,
Yeah.
right?
Nothing's
It'd be
going on.
beyond, well, it'd be beyond July 4th, so it won't be
Right.
that one in July.
July 13th.
And we'll try to do it around, anybody know what the dates for the flea market
Yes, the
is?
13th.
13th, okay, so let's not have it interfere with that either.
So,
Before that,
What's that?
before that, have it as a separate meeting.
well, before that, that's not gonna, that's only
It
gonna
won't
give a
be
couple
30
weeks.
days.
I would propose that we do Tuesday, July 21st.
6 p.m.
Yeah.
That's six, I know, I'm trying to work around my schedule too.
What was the answer, no?
He won't be here. I mean, it's gonna be tough to get everybody together, with
I'm
vacations
gone the week after that.
and such.
Chris, can you cancel your vacation?
You didn't even look at that.
I know.
The Friday before the 10th? So that's not gonna get done. Okay.
You guys want to do a clean report, aren't they done like at 5:30 and full sound with it?
Okay, I'm gonna ask you not to talk out, okay? Thank you.
I do have a question. What if we did it?
I'm sorry, you let other people talk, but not her.
What's that?
You let other people talk, but not her.
It's part of
He's the chairman of the
agricultural-
agricultural committee, he's on the agricultural committee. People who are talking to are town officials that are part of the process. And we don't answer to you either on this, so excuse me, please don't speak out you either. Thank you. Thank you. It's okay, no worries. I know you're not here very much, so I understand, no worries.
So could I mention that, you know, even with the flea market going on, let them have their flea market, but at the end of the day, when it settles down, if we are able to hold this hearing during that week.
Just be careful, because we have to post it. We have to adhere to the post. We notify people of the date.
The other option is to push it to the first week of August.
See if you can pick a date and let's see how it fits with everybody's schedule. I'd like to have all members
Yeah,
involved in this.
I'm on vacation, but I can shorten it. So maybe August 4th?
And when is your vacation?
Well, it's in the middle of the week, but I'm on the Cape, so it doesn't matter. It's fine.
No, I don't want you to.
No, it's fine. It's totally fine. The 4th, does the 4th work for you, sir? Sir?
Won't work for
Work for
me.
you?
It won't work for me because you'll be at the Cape because you're better. Like, what about Monday the 3rd? I mean, is there any time you're not at the Cape that
We
week?
can do Monday the 3rd, but would that be at one of our normal meetings?
No.
No. All right, let's do Monday the 3rd. You available?
Yes.
Sir?
All good? All right.
All
Let's
right.
Make that a motion, then we'll make it on the 3rd at 6 PM.
Make a
at the
motion
school.
to hold as a placeholder, August 3rd, for the dog nuisance hearings for 76 Old Palmer Road and 28 East Hill Road.
I'll second that.
Oh, 6 o'clock, here at the elementary school cafeteria.
Wait a minute.
What?
Yep.
Yep. So Chris, we're gonna just make sure that, yeah,
And we have 2 hearings that have to be done separately.
yes. Oh, so 6,
6 and 8.
oh, 6
I
and
don't think
8,
it'll
6,
take 2 hours, 6 and 7.
I would say,
And you
all
know
right.
what, if the first one runs a little bit over,
Right,
you know.
so let's do this, let me rephrase. Set the dog nuisance hearing for 76 Old Palmer Road for 6 o'clock on August 3rd, here at the Brimfield Elementary School cafeteria. And the second, for 28 East Hill Road at 7 o'clock on August 3rd, here in Brimfield.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
Drew and I.
McGuire, aye.
Kelly, aye. Okay, thank you. Last under new business, we have,
Oh, can I just wanted to circle back. So you're gonna reach out to people with those dates. This is, these are the dates. In the meantime, this is what we're suggesting.
Yes,
That the board, our board has voted on and your board is suggesting.
100%,
Would you mind CCing our office?
of course.
Is that okay? Yes, is that okay?
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, all set?
Yes, sorry.
That's all right. Next up, we have a request from the building commissioner. There's a form in here. And what's happening is he's requested that we accept this form he put together. And basically, it's for any new business coming into town to make sure that all of the steps are being met, that he's met with he meets the zoning and building and electrical and everything else that goes with
So
it.
this by no means is trying to make it difficult for any resident. This is trying to streamline things. So they're gonna have, the resident's gonna have to take it to the zoning board official, then the building commissioner. So it kind of tells them, it's making it easier for the resident, in my opinion.
It is definitely, because if they miss a step,
Yes, they
not
can go
aware
back,
of the
right.
step, then that's gonna jam them up.
And
as
it
they
also
go
helps,
forward.
it also helps our boards and our commissioners to know, where the residents are in that process. So I'm all for this application. I think it's a great idea, long overdue.
Okay? So I don't know if we, I guess we can take a vote to just say we approve.
Was there any other discussion?
No.
I make a motion to approve the Town of Brimfield's business permit approval application as written.
I second it.
Okay? All in favor?
Fraser, aye.
Stewart, aye.
Dwyer, sorry. Dwyer, aye.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not used to.
She's done all this reading, now she's all cranked up. She's like,
I got
okay,
home.
I'm on the move, you know? All right, so under old business, update the status of the town hall lift placard removal.
Chris?
So the board had previously approved the process for having the placard removal inspection. The company, Garaventa, reached out to say that the state is backlogged, that there's an option to have an overtime placard removal test, which would require an additional $400 to the state and a $2,400 payment for overtime work to Garaventa.
That's to streamline, move
To
it up.
move it up, that would allow for essentially scheduling immediately.
Right.
Otherwise, it will be July or August before the work is performed. Given that the building is not currently open, the extra $2,800
Yeah.
seems unnecessary, but it's,
That we're not, that's not holding us up, that
Right.
particular, yeah. I would say that we just wait for them to come and we don't want to spend any more extra money.
Right. So, I don't know that there's a motion to be made, we just
we just decide to wait.
It is,
It's all in place.
we're doing what we're doing and you're not making a change, so. All right, everyone okay with that? Yeah, okay. Next up, Spectrum Renewal License Update.
We kinda just did
Notice we all
that.
moved our heads to the right here?
Yeah.
I know, I feel like you just kind of gave us that.
Yeah, we already
don't
did,
have to
yeah.
go again. All right, so we're good with that then?
Yes.
All right, so we're good with that. All right, and the last item is the ambulance contract update. Mr. Frazier.
Okay, we had a meeting last week, Thursday, with Action Ambulance, their executives discussing through the proposed contract. And Chris joined us. I was happy to have him there. He had some very, very good selections and recommendations. We're reviewing verbiage on certain sections right now. And we have another meeting this coming Thursday, and we should be able to tie everything up and get it buttoned up and then get it to the different select boards to get signed. So that's essentially where we're at. Any questions?
So can I ask, are they receptive on our concerns with the building? I mean,
Yes.
they're receptive and they're willing to make change, right?
We're working together on doing that and getting it in place. Chris has given us proposed verbiage. They're working from their side. They have to be able to collect. We understand that. And we have to be able to protect our citizens. So there are different versions and options we're looking at. So that's where we're at right now.
Yes, I gave sample language for them to consider. We talked about it within the committee with the CEO right there. I think that we sort of came to a little bit of a meeting of the minds.
I think so.
Where they're going to get back to us with modified language that they're going to consider. One of the biggest concerns is our language to clarify some of the issues in the building practices cannot conflict with their ability to interact with patients and also insurance providers. So that's one concern. And then the other aspect of it is just simply making sure that the contract also, by the way, did include stuff that the committee already worked on extensively, which included an outreach coordinator for our community to work on billing disputes with others, and to also have office hours for coordinators so that we can, if we wanted to or residents wanted to, we can set office hours. So there are other parameters besides the contract clarification.
That's great.
Well, I think
It's mostly education. That's what we're trying to get out there.
we're all going in the right direction. so
Thank you guys for attending that
Thank you for all
meeting
of
and
that.
working
Thanks
on
for going
that.
to the meeting. Okay,
I make a motion to adjourn?
Second,
all in favor?
Raise your eye.
Stewart, aye.
The Bruin.
Kelly? Yeah. Thank you very much. Everyone.
Let's not say we
Good job tonight.
Thanks,